The girl in the car window opposite me, she keeps on staring at me. Does she love me? How will I know? Will I ever know? The girl in the car window opposite me, she keeps on looking at me.
Alright, hey everyone, and welcome back to this week's video. In this week's video, I am doing the last video about my family's vacation to South Carolina, which, as I've said before, this was our third year going to South Carolina for a month in July, and we stayed in a different house this year, but all 3 years we've stayed in the town of Beaufort, and we've come to really love the town, and it really feels like a home now, because technically we've lived there for 3 months overall, and it's just a super cool little town in South Carolina, and it's about halfway between Charleston and Savannah, and so it's in a really good location. But we've stayed in this town for so long, I thought I would make a video about our favorite things to do in Beaufort and places in Beaufort, because it's just such an awesome place and not really popular. But I thought I would show like a highlight reel and our favorite things to do there. So I have a list of 7 places that we really love in Beaufort and the surrounding islands, so I will go through them and tell you our favorites. And these are in no particular order, but we love all of them a lot. And some we found the first year and only really used the first year, and then some places we've used every year, because there are lots of options we found for things to do in Beaufort and like places to go and stuff like that. So the first place is Hunting Island State Park. We have gone to the beach there all 3 years. It's an amazing state park. It's actually where they filmed the Vietnam scenes of Forrest Gump, which is pretty cool. But we really love the state park. It has a very jungle feel, and every year with storms and everything, we've got to see the beach change and just like the surrounding nature change, which has been really cool. And we made a tradition of almost every Sunday doing a sunrise walk on the beach together to see the sunrise, which has been really nice. But overall, it's a really pretty beach, and it's not too crowded typically. If you go, like, even on days that would be busy, it's not as busy as like Hilton Head or anything like that. It's more like people camping and more local people, so we've really enjoyed going to the beach at Hunting Island. The next place is the walk to downtown Beaufort. And downtown Beaufort is really pretty. We really love the shops there and everything. So really downtown Beaufort is the second place. We've walked through the shops there every year, and they're really cute touristy places, but also less touristy places. And during the water festival, which you've seen in previous vlogs, downtown is pretty crowded, but it's still like a nice small town feel. So we definitely love downtown Beaufort and the shops and everything.
What did you do? Oh.
The third place is the walk to downtown, because the walk to downtown is so pretty. There are so many inns, like Beaufort inns and bed and breakfasts around there. So the walk is really pretty because you're going through the Spanish moss trails, and this year the house that we stayed in was about a mile from downtown, so we got to walk along and see the marsh on one side and then all these big beautiful old houses on the left side with Spanish moss overhead. So we really loved that area. Fourth place is the waterfront park. This has to be maybe my first or second favorite place in Beaufort, because it's so cool, and it would be so cool if every like coastal town had this. So Beaufort has a cool waterfront park where there's like a community space and park with palm trees all around, and then like a sidewalk type thing along the marina where all the boats are, and docks to the boats and everything. And you can see, we call it the Forrest Gump Bridge from there because it's the bridge that Forrest Gump ran over in the movie. But there's a really pretty view from there of all the boats and just marshes and everything. And during the water festival, we went to the park like probably almost every day that we did activities, because there were all kinds of booths there, like craft booths and little little stores and everything. And there were all kinds of events like the air show, the ski show, the concert, fireworks, everything. So the waterfront park was a really cool central location for the festival, and running there was awesome, biking there was awesome. So the waterfront park has to be probably my favorite place. The fifth location is Old Point neighborhood. This is just like an area of town, like it's these few streets, a little neighborhood right off of downtown, like across the road from downtown, and it's called Old Point, and I showed it in my last video. It's a really cool just neighborhood of old houses. Like there's no other way to describe it except it's just full of these beautiful old historic houses, and it definitely to me mixes the vibes of New England from when we lived up there, like the New England architecture near the coast and southern architecture near the coast, because there's a cool mix of like palm trees and marshes, but then also there are some more like southern plantation type houses, and then also more New England like tight, close together row houses. So Old Point neighborhood was really cool to take walks in and stuff like that. Place is right near our house. We used this probably every day, almost every day. It was the Spanish Moss Trail. Well, in my area of Pennsylvania, the Rails to Trails is a really common just trail that like runs through, and it's old train tracks and railroads that they made into public trails that people run and bike and walk on, which is really cool. And so the southern equivalent of that is the Spanish Moss Trail, and there's this really cool paved trail just through, like it kind of cut through the middle of a bunch of Beaufort neighborhoods, and so we ran on there. I don't know how many miles there are. I biked to one of the ends but not the other, but there are miles and miles of this trail, and it's really nicely paved. And so we ran there and did workouts there and biked and walked the dogs and all kinds of stuff on this trail. And we were about a quarter-mile walk from one of the intersections, so you can go right or left, and both were really pretty. So Spanish Moss Trail was really nice to just like hop on. You can hop on at any intersection and then just go either direction, and you can kind of see backyards of cool houses, and there are bridges over marshes, and people fishing and all kinds of really cool stuff like that. So the seventh and last place that I have to show you is the City Walk neighborhood. And a lot of these are neighborhoods that you can just like walk through, because my family goes on walks. We walk our dogs every evening, so we get to know a lot of the places around town that are good for walks. So City Walk neighborhood on Water Street was right by the house that we stayed in this year. We didn't really know that it existed that much. I think my dad had heard of it, but we didn't really know what it was. But it's just this really pretty street and like couple streets of houses that border a marsh, as a lot of the houses do. It borders a marsh, and there are all these really cool modern houses. So it's kind of like the Old Point feel, except that they're all houses built, I think, in the last like 10 years probably. So they're very like craftsman style, modern houses with a really nice like gravel walking path along the side of it, and like hammocks hanging, and you can tell it would just be a really cool couple streets to live on. So that's definitely like a dream house later on in life. But we walked our dogs around City Walk probably almost every day. I don't quite know why it's called City Walk. I guess it is close to the downtown of the city, but City Walk on Water Street we really loved. So those are 7 of our favorite places in Beaufort, and obviously we visited a ton of places like in the surrounding areas of Beaufort and those islands, because the first year we stayed on Ladies Island, Chamois Creek Landing, and then the second year we stayed in Port Royal, but we visited a lot of the different surrounding islands and like got to explore that, which is really cool. So those are a bunch of our favorite places. I hope you enjoyed, and if you ever visit South Carolina, Beaufort is an amazing place to stay. We've really enjoyed staying there for 3 years, and we will see where future summers take us, and we're really thankful to have been able to stay in such a nice place, and really like stay there for so long and be a part of the community, which has been really cool. So that is it for this week's video and South Carolina 2021. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you in my next video. Bye!
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something that